different kinds of, so multiple titles essentially, right?
Multiple titles.
Multiple identities.
Yes.
So you're an editor at CGTN, you're also a fashion blogger, you're a key opinion leader as well.
Yeah.
Multiple titles. Fantastic.
That's right.
Welcome, Daya. Yuchen, what about you?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Yuchen, and I'm originally from Beijing. For the past 3 years, I've been running this tech startup in Shanghai called AlphaLink. Thank you.
What is AlphaLink, Yuchen?
AlphaLink is basically it's a tech startup, and we're a social media platform, and we have this app called AlphaLink, and also have our basically offline business. And what we do is that we connect people with companies. So it's both talent acquisition and social networking.
Oh, talent acquisition plus social network.
Yeah.
Interesting combination.
Yep.
Okay, welcome, Yuchen.
Thank you.
And Suki.
Hello everyone, I'm Suki, and now I'm an influencer now, and 2 years ago I was a cost controller, worked for a construction company.
For a construction company?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you were telling me beforehand you studied what? You minored in civil engineering and majored in?
Yeah, I majored in administration management,
okay.
And I had a minor in civil engineering during the university. Yeah, but now I'm an influencer now.
That's a very interesting transition, isn't it? So from administration and civil engineering to now a fashion blogger.
Yes.
Okay, I think you can be called a slash youth as well. You've got multiple titles.
Well, 3 years ago I was, but I think that made me so exhausted, so I just made a big decision to quit.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might explore that mindset in just a moment as well, right? Because we're trying to understand better China's younger generation. Okay, I want to understand where everybody is from around China. So, Yuchen, you said that you were originally from Beijing, so let me get back to you in just a second. Daya, where are you from?
I'm from Beijing. I'm a local.
You're also a Beijinger?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 Beijingers here.
Okay.
Fantastic. And then Suki, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from northeast of China.
The northeast of China.
Yeah, Jilin province.
Jilin province.
Yes, but now I live in Beijing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're from the same part of China that I'm from. I'm from Liaoning province.
Wow.
So we are both from the northeast, and then
Yes.
you two are from Beijing. Fantastic. Can I just say first how old I feel compared to you guys? I mean, I'm a millennial. I'm a millennial, and maybe my mindset is older than you guys as well, right? So just laying it out there. Just laying it out there.
Okay.
In terms of the bigger picture, I want to first ask you guys about the ideal city that you want to live in.
Yeah.
I mean, Beijing, obviously, you two are very familiar with. So how about, Suki, let's start with you. In terms of the ideal city for you, what would that look like?
I actually more like Beijing or Shanghai. Yeah, like these metropolitans. Yeah, because I think there are more opportunities and more convenience and more interesting things.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Beijing is pretty much an ideal city for you already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to move to a smaller city. Even if my job was all online, but I don't want to move to a smaller place.
Yeah, I mean, you can work anywhere you want if you're a fashion blogger, right?
But if I move to a smaller place, maybe I have to have more business trip. Yeah, because I have to attend some more fashion events. Yeah,
Okay.
but this can be only in the metropolitans.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Yuchen, your ideal city combines what different factors?
I think first it has to be culturally vibrant. I think Shanghai is one of the the examples. I mean, Beijing is definitely a great city. I'm from Beijing, so between Beijing and Shanghai, I'm a little torn.
If you had to choose.
If I had to choose, I'd probably. I mean, for now, I prefer Shanghai because I think the culture is more diverse, and Beijing definitely has a lot of the traditional factors. You know, I'm from Beijing, and I love the traditional art forms. But Shanghai, I find Shanghai more interesting in a way that is more international in a way, and it's got more diverse factors, and just culturally is more vibrant, I think.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. and then, Daya, what about you? Your ideal city?
For me, I think I'm a bit rebellious.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We all go through those stages, I feel.
Because I kind of feel boring living in a city for a long time.
Okay.
So I think if I had the chance to move into another city, I would do it once a year.
Once a year, you would change a city?
That was my hope.
Okay.
But I can't do it now
So
because
like
I have
nomad, pretty much.
No, but it's lucky we are influencer. We have lots of chance to change.
To work anywhere.
Yeah, but the thing is, I have a stable job
Yeah.
as an editor in CGTN, so I can't do that. But that was my hope.
And hopefully we can explore this mindset of stability and change, how China's younger generation views that. So if you had to choose an ideal city to live right now, Daya, where would it be? I mean, the hometown, I can understand, right? Even though Beijing is a huge city, it can get boring if this is your hometown. You know everything. If you had to choose, where would it be?
Now, for me, I'd rather live in Sanya, and maybe
Sanya,
yeah,
okay.
in Hainan.
I mean, count me in. I wouldn't mind living.
Like that's
Who doesn't want to live in Sanya for a long time, right? You've got pristine beaches.
Maybe.
yeah, you can surf every day.
Every day,
Like,
drink fresh coconut juice every day. Fantastic seafood. I love the mantis shrimp in Shanghai. So mantis shrimp.
It's so
PP
big,
salad.
right?
It's
The mantis
huge.
shrimp is huge.
It's huge in Shanghai. It's definitely smaller
I think it's
here
called
in
like
northern
a
China.
zebra
Yeah.
mantis.
Is it what it's called? A zebra mantis?
Yeah, a
What is
zebra
it?
mantis, because it's got stripes on it, so it's
Yeah.
very big,
You've seen a mantis shrimp this big.
Yeah, I mean, like not that big, but probably this
Oh.
big, Yeah.
Okay.
One of the bigger ones.
I haven't tried
Yeah.
that big.
But it's
mantis shrimp.
amazing,
Delicious.
right? Yeah, I
Absolutely
think
delicious.
it's just as good as the smaller ones,
Yeah,
only bigger.
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, are we talking about jobs or are we talking about mantis shrimp?
Yeah.
Got a little carried
so
away.
hungry now.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind Sanya.
I'm
This
so
is
hungry now.
this is not a small city, though,
Yes.
right? Because
Yeah.
every city in China, I feel it's all relative, right? Even a relatively small city by China's standards would be a pretty big city anywhere else in the world. But Suki, would you consider maybe some of other China's larger cities, for example, like a Shanghai, like a Shenzhen, or a Guangzhou, like the south of China? Would you consider?
I've been to Hangzhou, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen. Yeah, I think each of them has their specialties, and I'm so appreciate that. But I still like Beijing more.
You still like Beijing more?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like the culture, the history, and the people. Yeah. And I think there are a lot of new things for me to discover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think in 10 years I can say I've learned about enough. Oh, I've learned a lot about Beijing. Yeah.
I actually completely agree with what
Yeah.
you just said, because even in China's big cities, development doesn't stop.
Yes.
Things
that's
change
true.
every single
Yeah.
day.
Right.
It doesn't mean because you're in a first-tier city or a very large city that things stop
Yes.
changing or stop developing in this city. It's still changing
Yeah,
quite
so
a bit.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I like Shanghai too. I think Shanghai is modern and sophisticated. Yeah, but I think Beijing is more generous and tolerant.
oh,
Yeah, so
interesting.
I like
Okay.
Beijing. Yeah.
I mean, I definitely love the tradition and culture here, right? Just simply
Yes.
where we are right now. We're in a
Yeah.
hutong, one of these
Yeah.
traditional Beijing alleyways.
Yeah.
In one of these, can you call it a Siheyuan, like this
Yeah,
traditional
yeah.
Beijing courtyard?
Yes.
Right, that's modernized right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic
you can
setting.
find this place and you can go to the CBD.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that far away. Public
Yes, it's
transportation,
so
very
different,
convenient. Yeah. But I want to get your take in terms of potentially moving to a smaller city. How you view that, right? Let's just say not even a medium-sized city, but an
Yes.
even smaller city. Maybe let's say a third-tier or fourth-tier city. Maybe there are less opportunities, but in terms of living costs, it's much lower. In terms of the pace of life, it could be a bit slower as well. And I feel there's nothing wrong with moving to a much smaller city, right? It's simply a lifestyle choice.
Yes.
So, Daya, I know you want to move around a little bit, so let me get Yuchen, your thoughts on this in terms of what would entice you to move to a smaller city, because you're used to this kind of big metropolis.
Right.
Yeah. What would entice you to go to a smaller city?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me to move to a smaller city at this point unless there's a big career opportunity, right?
Yeah.
At least for me, right, I definitely want to find a work-life balance, but I can do that in a big city. And what the big city offers is that actually more opportunities, not just in career, but in pretty much everything, right? You get to meet more people. You get a lot more information. I think information is the key here. It doesn't really have to do with the cuisine or the entertainment, the hospitals. It's also about information.
Yeah.
But I think at this stage, right, I think technology enables a lot of the information to be transferred to, I guess, a lot of the smaller cities. You still get the information online, but it's more about the information you get from, say, face-to-face meetings. I think that's kind of lacking in smaller cities, but I probably wouldn't consider that at this point, but maybe in my 30s or 40s, I'll definitely consider that factor, and also if there's a huge, say, if the talent acquisition teams from one of these smaller cities, releases a great policy, and I definitely want to capitalize on that opportunity. But at this point, I think I'm actually open to moving to a second-tier city, one of the satellite cities within, the either the Delta Circle or the Bay Area, right?
Okay.
But to a third-tier city, I mean that's a huge change, right? I'll need to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you might say, to an even smaller city, maybe for retirement down the road.
But I'm
you're
definitely up for Sanya. That's always an option.
Count me in. Who's not in for Sanya? What about you, Daya? What is going to entice you, incentivize you to move to a much smaller city? How about we put it that way? Because look, I ask this because we worry about perhaps brain drains, right? And this is not just in China; it's everywhere in the world where young people might want to choose more opportunities of a bigger city and leave their hometowns, right? So we see talent moving from smaller cities to larger cities, but in terms of policies to attract younger people back to their hometowns, back to smaller cities, we're seeing that all across China. So what would it take to entice you to move to a much smaller city?
For me, I was thought to move to a smaller city before, but the pace, I just don't like it. It's so slow.
Compensation. Okay.
I just don't like the slow pace.
Oh, the pace. Okay,
Yeah.
I see. Okay, yeah.
So many people say that they enjoy the slow pace and they hate the fast pace in Beijing or in Shanghai or in other metropolises. But I just enjoy this fast pace.
Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
So for me now, in the age of 20s, I had never thought of move to a
smaller city.
Yeah.
Okay, you like this hustle and bustle sort of feel.
That's the thing. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
right now.
But you don't want to just slow down sometimes, right? I mean, I love the fast pace of a big city as well, but sometimes during the weekend, I just want to be in a room, lie down,
Okay,
a cup of coffee, read a book.
Yes.
That's it.
I'll
That's
sleep
it.
all day.
Yeah.
And sleep all day.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Sometimes you just want to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I
right?
think so that people are different.
That's true. That's true. What about you, Suki?
Oh, I'm
To a smaller
from,
city.
Yeah, I'm from a smaller city.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I come to Beijing, I love the city, and I lived in a diverse family. Yeah, so but my mom, my father, my stepmother, and stepfather all love me. So I maybe want to more independent and want more individual life. So I come far away from my hometown. But my hometown is not so far away from Beijing. Yeah.
Okay. How long does it take to get from your hometown to Beijing by high-speed rail?
If I take the slow train only one night, and now our transportation is developed, and I can only take 3 to 5 hours. Yeah.
3 to 5 hours to get from your
so
hometown
it's
to Beijing.
too fast. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's not bad.
Yes.
So speaking of transportation, I mean, this is interesting because China is building out these city clusters, right?
Yes. Yep.
So we have this huge city, Beijing, and then, like you mentioned, satellite cities or satellite areas surrounding this big city.
Yeah.
And you can take light rail or high-speed rail. So you can get from Tianjin, which is very close to Beijing now,
Wow.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Under 30 minutes. I mean, some of
Yes.
these high-speed trains you can get here in 27 minutes.
Yep.
So would this be attractive to you? For example, living in Tianjin. It's still a huge city, but relatively smaller compared to Beijing. But then for work, you commute, right? So you live in Tianjin, lower living living costs, and then you commute to Beijing. Would that be something interesting? Because you see this not only in Beijing as well, but in Shanghai and then in Guangzhou, Greater Bay Area as well. City clusters surrounded by satellite cities, linked up by very convenient high-speed rail. Would that be an option you would consider? So you get fast pace and slow pace sometimes.
Yeah.
Combined together.
I like the vibe.
You like the vibe? Okay. Yuchen, what
I
about
just
you?
hate the commute.
You just don't like the
I just hate
commute?
the commute.
Yeah,
It
me
still takes time to get to the train station. I mean, the high-speed rail is definitely changing everything. It's really fast, but I think the commute can be a problem. But trust me, we already have engineers who have moved to Suzhou, right? I mean, our company is based in Shanghai, and then they commute daily to come to Shanghai, but they actually live in Suzhou because it's a lot cheaper to buy a house in Suzhou or buy an apartment in Suzhou.
Yeah.
So we actually have engineers at Alpha Link who commute from Suzhou every day.
How long is that commute from Suzhou to Shanghai?
I think it's roughly an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, that's doable.
That's doable. Yeah, I think it's an hour and a half, but it can be longer. But I think that way, right? You're not really just paying rent. You actually, you get a down payment. You actually end up buying this apartment, right?
Yeah.
It kind of works out for our engineers. But you see that with a lot of the younger people these days.
Yeah.
I mean, I think between Shanghai and Suzhou is really convenient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Suki, what about you?
After graduation, I went to a state-owned company, and as a cost controller, at that time, it will take me 2 to 3 hours to go to work because
Oh, really?
yeah,
That's a long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
That's
because
that's a long time.
my headquarter of company is in Wangjing. Yeah, but my project is in Wukesong,
Okay.
and we have shuttle bus to go and
Okay,
back.
so for our audience abroad, you're basically crossing town
Yes.
in Beijing, and Beijing is huge.
Yes,
It's massive.
and we have the free dormitory near my hotel company.
Okay.
Yeah,
Free
so
dormitory
I have
as
to
well.
come back, and my boyfriend worked for works for the same company too. So I want to meet him every day. So I have to come back and go.
I
Yeah,
see.
every day.
So can
Yeah.
I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Because you took like 2 to 3 hours on the
Yes.
way, what
Yes.
do you do? Well,
Oh, we have the shuttle bus. I only in the morning I will sleep. Yeah.
No, but what do you
Okay.
do during this 2 to
Yeah.
3 hour commute? I mean, do you listen to an audiobook? Do you watch some, movies when you
No,
read a book?
Only sleep.
2 to 3 hours, you're sleeping
Yeah,
during the
yeah.
commute.
Yeah. So one way,
Uh-huh.
1.5 hours and
Oh,
go
back
and
and
back.
forth.
Oh,
2
1.5
hours, yeah.
hours
Yeah, yeah,
getting
yeah.
to work.
Yeah,
And
one
then-
day to 3
So what time
hours.
do you have to wake up in the morning during this job?
6:30. 6:30.
6:30.
Yes,
Okay.
to
and then
catch up the shuttle bus.
that's
Yeah.
actually not a bad idea because sleeping and napping works better than coffee.
Well,
I still need my coffee.
yeah.
After a good nap, I would. Okay,
need
fine.
my
I just,
coffee.
I mean, a nap because here in China we have these lunch naps, right?
right.
Yes.
Jiao, and I really think it works much better than coffee.
but that,
Anyway, I
that
digress.
is not a nap. That's like
That's not a nap. That's
that's a
that's a good sleep.
I still remember at that time my feet were always blocked because due to staying on the shuttle bus for a long time every day. Yeah, but I still have a seat.
Okay.
that's good.
That's quite enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Those who take metros to go to work, they have to try their best to crowd into the carriages and spend a long time to change different lines.
Yeah.
And even someone who want to take buses,
Yeah.
they have to wait for the buses in the outside and in the frozen winter.
Right.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think I'm enough lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like door to door kind of.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah, yeah.
right?
Just wake up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Change to the shuttle bus and sleep.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good.
So
And-
I mean,
I wouldn't
commute
mind.
is definitely a factor, right? When it comes to choosing a job, nobody likes long commutes, obviously.
sure.
Yeah, and I have my breakfast. I had my breakfast on my project. Yeah, we have the kitchen.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have a
Oh,
kitchen
wow.
at work.
Yeah, so
Oh,
just
that's good.
just wake up on the shuttle bus and then have my breakfast.
I mean, I just feel with high-speed rail and with the convenience of China's public transportation system, sometimes I'm also enticed
Yeah.
to maybe go back to my hometown. So back in 2011, I remember when I first came to Beijing, it used to take me around 4 to 5 hours to get back home as well. Now it takes me about 2 hours and 27 minutes
Oh,
with the
yeah.
latest high-speed rail.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Beijing. So I just feel like, maybe I can work 4 days here, 1 day at home, and just commute 2.5 hours. Why not? It's impossible. It can't be done. But still, it's close enough that you feel like, okay, I can be
Right.
closer to family and
Yes.
then also
Yes.
come here to work,
Yes.
even though it's a 2.5 hour high-speed train ride. Let's talk about jobs. Okay, in terms of why you chose your occupations right now. Real quick, in terms of what you wanted to do growing up. Did you guys have a sense of what you wanted to do when you were in middle school and high school? Because you youngsters grew up, and I say youngsters from sort of a millennial perspective. You youngsters grew up in a great time in China. I mean, China was developing so fast,
Yes.
right, during the late 90s and the early 2000s, 2010s. And in terms of how that might have impacted what you wanted to do, did you have an idea already in middle school or in high school what kind of jobs you wanted to do, Daya?
In my case, I was like so much influenced by my mom. She wanted me to be an accountant.
An accountant.
Oh,
Accountant, yeah.
Okay.
So I was
My mom
like,
too.
I'm not interested in math or anything like that. So I just wanted to be in the media area.
In the media area.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that tension? I mean, this might be a personal question. How did you deal with that tension? So your parents wanted you to be an accountant, and then you wanted to be in media. How did you resolve this issue?
I actually learned accounting while I was in university, but my mom knew I can't do that.
Okay.
I couldn't pass it.
I see.
So I just changed my major and continue with a dream.
Okay. So following your passions, following your dreams.
Yes.
Okay. And then Yuchen, what about you? Did you have an idea?
Yeah,
of-
like growing up, I've always wanted to be a zoologist.
You
know?
wanted to be a
Yeah,
zoologist.
or
Okay.
marine biologist. You know, before learning that, I wasn't really that good at biology, right?
Wow.
Okay.
In addition to loving all the animals, you need to study the details.
The details,
and
okay.
didn't turn out like to become my. I mean that didn't become my career. And in college, I was an art history major for a long time, before realizing that I wasn't going to get a real job. But,
Okay. So
I mean, like an actual job. I mean, I was told by
Yeah.
by my dean that I mean, I couldn't really get a job with this major. And
your dean.
yeah, my dean basically told me that, okay, the best, I mean, you would just end up, I mean, it's just like there were fewer opportunities available at the time.
Okay.
Given that, I also had this visa issue.
Got it.
Yeah. So,
Because you were studying in the United States.
Yes.
And then, okay.
Yeah.
But I love this gap. So, I mean, accountant and then media, zoologist and then art history. But then ultimately, what did you major in?
economics.
In economics. Great. Zoologist, art history, economics. And then Suki, we know your
Yeah.
background. You went from civil engineering administration to
yes.
media blogger as well.
When I was a student, I like chemistry.
You like chemistry?
Yes.
God.
Yes. And my aunt now is in the chemistry industry. So
Okay.
if give me another opportunity, I may choose to learn more chemistry.
More
yeah.
chemistry. Okay.
Yes, I like it. Oh, the bottles and
Very interesting. So
Yes.
Daya had some pressure from her parents when it comes to choosing a major. Did you
Yes.
as well, Yuchen, or no?
Not that much pressure from my
Yes.
parents, but I kind of knew my limits back then. I wasn't that good at math. I wanted to be a scientist in the first place, but I knew that I wasn't that good at math. And I just, like kind of knew my limitation, and that's why I mean, I had my passion, and I was looking at what I was really good at. That
Okay.
took me a long time to find out. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then
Yeah.
Suki, did you
Yeah.
have some pressure from your parents?
no, but I think I have to follow the factors. I want to choose a familiar career because all my family are in the construction
Oh, I
company.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think maybe I can go more faster on this career.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's more easier for me. Yeah. So I chose this major. Yeah. But now I just find what I want to do, and then I made a big decision to quit. Oh, I'm so lucky involved in a great project about 2022 Winter Olympic Games.
Oh,
yeah.
tell us
Yeah.
more about that. What happened? How are
Yes,
you involved?
it's my great project. Yeah. Now that project is in Wukesong. Yeah.
What did you do for this project?
Oh, I just mainly responsible of the calculating to complete the project, how many construction materials needed and how much they would cost.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like it was like purchasing the ingredients according to a recipe. Yes, but then I feel I still like to make up myself or fashion things, so
Yeah.
I just quit. Yes.
Wow. So all three of you pretty much are pursuing your dreams and passions and
Yeah.
not sticking with the, okay. I mean, fair enough. So I majored also in economics at school. I had some pressure from my parents. So actually, I'm not sure if I should say this on a live stream, but my major, my mom chose for me.
Oh,
My mom chose economics for me, and originally I wanted to major in Deutsch, German, the German language.
Right. Oh.
And she said, it's best you major in economics. I mean, nothing against German. I still love German. But, you know, that's why I asked whether or not you guys had some pressure from your parents. But now I love economics. Back then when she chose it, I didn't really understand it too much. So I thought, okay, why not? But, you know, now I like it, and I like what I do. So that's very interesting. I want to talk about in terms of how you made this mind shift to go from your previous industries to your industries now. I mean, this is, again, going back to stability and change. Suki, I mean, how did you make this decision? How did you find that courage to go from a stable job to now a fashion blogger? Or maybe there's a stereotype in my mind. Fashion blogger is also perhaps a stable job. I don't know. How did you make this decision?
I really want to try to put this career as a stable one. Yeah, you know, as for now, I think this career is new. It's a new one. Yeah. At first, my family didn't agree with me. Yeah, they don't want me to do this job, and they say, "Well, I'm crazy to quit from a state-owned company." Yeah.
Stable.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. But now my family, I'm so appreciate them because they approve. How to say that?
Approve, support.
Yeah,
Support your decision
support me.
now.
Yeah. So great to support me. So now I think I'm living loved, and I want to make my dream come true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think this society is so great to let me do this,
Yeah.
and I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that might be a general mindset of many Generation Zers, Suki, from your perspective here in China, in terms of, you know, yes, a stable job is great, but I want to dare a little bit more. I want to have more courage to try something out that really is about my passion and dreams and not just follow a traditional career
Oh,
track.
yeah. I like this career because of there will be more opportunities, and they can make me more possibilities to do other work. Yeah, it's like, how to say that?
Say it in Chinese and then we'll translate.
Okay. 像一个杠杆一样，可以翘起其他的职业。
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So you're using this perhaps as a foundation, as leverage
Yeah,
to
yeah.
perhaps create more opportunities or find more opportunities in the future.
Yes, and
Okay.
I like to try something new.
Something new.
Yes.
Okay. And then Yuchen, I mean, you also had a pretty cushy job before. How about you tell us that before you
Yeah.
became an entrepreneur?
Sure. So prior to this job, I did investment banking and finance.
Okay.
So that was a pretty stable job, but at the same time, very sort of time-consuming, and it was. I wouldn't say that I burned out, but you know, it was a natural transition for me because first, you know, China has a very entrepreneurial environment. Right, you've seen all the successes. I mean, not to, you know, be held, you know, by the same standards or anything, but you know, I'm just saying, you know, you've seen like over the years, you know, I've seen a lot of companies like going public, you know, while I was working as an investment banker, and that kind of, you know, that was really interesting, and you know, the dream was always there. You know, you always have this in the back of your mind saying maybe one day, you know, I'll be able to come close to, you know, taking a company public, or you know, having my company acquired by a bigger company, something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And that had always been the dream, but you know, it was really this one opportunity that came up in 2019 that really changed this whole thing, you know. And I finally made the decision of, you know, changing my career, you know, moving from finance to you know, tech entrepreneurship, but also trying to utilize all the sort of resources and all the skills I learned from the past.
Yeah.
I really buying this idea of, you know, connecting the dots. I think Steve Jobs said it in, you know, at the Stanford, you know, graduation commencement.
Oh,
you
that
know.
very
I think
famous commencement speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good, you know, a point, because you know, whatever you do in the future, you know, I'm always, you know, I always want to kind of utilize whatever I've accomplished in the past.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me that was more like a natural transition, but also it was really, I had to take a lot of risks, because you know, being an entrepreneur means that, you know, I had to be like, I no longer could only focus on one, one thing. I had to be, good at pretty much everything. Not to be good at everything, but I had to know everything, right, as a manager. So that's really important. And also managing people is something you don't learn from schools, right? Like,
experience.
Right. It's all based on experience, right? It's all, learning on the job kind of thing, right? So, and at one point I realized I had to learn how to better manage people. And that didn't really, it was like this eureka moment for me, right? I realized I had to do that. I had to enhance my managerial skills, and it just, it's a big change, right? Really, it's a very steep learning curve.
Okay. You wanted to add something to that, Suki?
As an influencer, maybe now my job is not not so related to my major and fashion career, but I think that previous experience can help me a lot and teach me how to have a good communication skills.
Oh,
yes,
I see. Okay.
And maybe have some self-disciplined habits.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of transferable skills from your previous job to the one that you have right now.
So I think everything, all we experience can be our fortune. Yeah.
Daya, do you want to be an entrepreneur one day?
Probably, I won't say no. But
You leave that door open, right?
Yeah,
You're
I
open
leave
to
it-
becoming
yeah,
an
yeah.
entrepreneur as well.
And I also want to say that my experience kind of like different from Suki.
Yeah.
Because I just pick up one camera in my university. I think year one, freshman year.
Okay.
And I just standing in front of camera and talk to camera and share it to everyone else, and it's just a hobby, not a thing.
But I mean, what inspired you to pick up that camera? You must have wanted to talk about something, right? What was it that triggered you to want to pick up a camera and just do blogs and vlogs?
Because I was on YouTube, and that was the first time I know YouTube.
Okay.
And that was the like the beginning of the rising of the YouTube.
I see.
So I was like, I can do that.
Okay.
I can try it.
Yeah.
So I just tried it, and now I got this opportunity to come to CGTN always based on this experience, and I like to talk to camera.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
At the very beginning, although I love fashion, but at first time I faced the camera, I even didn't know how to behave myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we're not the same.
It comes with time.
Yeah, so yes. Due to at that time, I didn't have the nature sense of fashion or didn't find my own style. So now my followers always commented me saying, "Wow, your pictures are gorgeous." I think it's due to it is a fruit coming from 1,000 times of trying, matching, shooting, deleting, or reshooting. Yeah. So I think comes from endeavor.
Fantastic. I mean, I love the spirit. I want to take a short survey right now in terms of how Gen Zers here in China think about their jobs in terms of which factors they consider the most important. So I've got a few factors listed here, and I'm going to just go through them one by one. And I want to ask you guys in terms of their relative importance to you on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
How important these factors are they to you when it comes to choosing a job? And actually, I'm just curious, so I'm going to take out a pen with my little notes here and just ask you one by one, okay? So the most obvious factor here, compensation. Starting salary for a Gen Zer, I mean, how important is compensation for you guys on a scale of 1 to 10? Daya, what do you think?
I haven't thought of that. Maybe 6.
Maybe 6, okay. Yuchen, what about you?
Maybe a 7.
A 7, okay. And then Suki?
6 or 7.
A 6 or 7?
Count the options.
Oh no, 6.5.
6.5.
Wow.
Nothing wrong with this. I'm just curious. 6.5. Okay. So from our 3 guests here, compensation, a 6, a 7, and a 6.5 out of 10. Second factor, a sense of purpose and the ability to realize your dream in this job.
Definitely a 10.
A 10. Okay.
A 9.
A 9?
Yeah.
Why not a 10?
It's just that, I think there are other factors to consider, right? I mean, I'm trying to be more
rational
balanced.
man.
Yeah, trying to be more balanced.
Very rational answer. Definitely an economics student, Yuchen. And then
That's right.
Suki?
I want to say 11.
11. We'll take 11.
The average
This is
would be-
very important.
Yeah.
Very important. So they average out to around 10.
Yeah.
So 10.
Yeah.
Okay, very important.
Yeah.
Extremely important.
Yeah.
The company or the organization's brand name. You work for CGTN, Daya. Be careful with your. I mean, it's a great brand. So. But just in general, how do you feel when you started out in your career? The company or the organization's brand, how important is that to you? And just your perception of Gen Zers in general here in China. How important is that brand name?
I think probably 8.
An 8. Okay, we'll take that. And then Yuchen, what about you?
I would say a 6.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Why so?
Because
relatively
there
low?
are smaller companies that would offer you greater upside potential that don't have the kind of reputation that bigger companies have.
Sure.
Counting that in,
Okay.
obviously if I just between smaller companies and big companies. Yeah.
I'm going to ask about upside
Yep.
potential in just a second.
Yep.
And then Suki.
Yeah, for me in the past, I maybe think like 7 or 8. Now I work for myself.
Okay.
Yes.
7 or 8 before, but
Yeah.
then okay. That's still quite important, I feel, for a company,
Yes.
organization's brand name. Job stability. I mean, we touched upon this, but I guess how about we summarize job stability, Daya? A scale of 1 to 10.
Under my parents' pressure, I would say a 10.
No,
Because my
not-
mom
okay.
will watch this.
Not under your parents' pressure.
Okay.
By yourself.
8.
8. I mean, by yourself, you're pretty much in line with your parents' thinking then, right? 8.
There
8.
there is still differences.
Okay, we'll take that. And then, Yuchen, I feel like for you, it should not be that important, job stability.
At this point,
At
probably
this point,
not.
okay.
At this point, probably.
But when
when I was starting out, it was probably somewhere around an 8.
An 8, okay.
Yeah.
Suki?
Yeah. 8.
Also pretty high, right? When
Yeah,
you're starting
8
out.
to 9. Yeah. I
Okay.
think it's
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Upside potential, I love that, Yuchen. So I wrote clear career growth path.
Yeah.
You know that when you join this organization that you have many opportunities for advancement.
Yes.
How important is that to you, Daya? Career growth, upside potential,
I think it's crucial.
crucial, okay?
10.
A 10, okay. And seriously, I mean, CGTN is a great platform in terms
That's
of
right.
it's the people that we reach out to around the world. This is
Yeah.
a great platform for any media blogger or
That's
media
what I
dreamer
mean.
as well. That's why you're here, okay. A 10, and then Yuchen, what about you?
It's definitely a 10.
Definitely a 10.
Wow. Yeah,
10.
definitely.
Okay. The ability for young people to innovate and be creative at work. I guess also a corollary is having a stronger voice at work as well. How important are these two factors to you?
10.
Also a 10.
That's the reason why I'm in CGTN, because I have many opportunities to create and
Content that you want.
Thick.
Okay. Fantastic. And then Yuchen?
It's a 9.
A 9.
Yeah. Very
Suki?
important.
Yeah, 10.
A 10.
So I quit.
Okay. What about a fantastic working environment and great colleagues?
10.
A 10. But what if you work in an environment where you have fantastic colleagues, but the compensation is just
That's I gotta balance it.
You got to balance it. Okay. Maybe I should have done this survey in terms of comparing factors instead of just
Maybe a 9.
listing. Maybe a
on
9.
this.
Right.
Okay. Working environment. Yuchen, what about you?
I think it's an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Suki,
7.
a 7.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last factor, the company's value and its mission.
That's so important.
Okay, I'm going to put you down for a 10.
I think it's somewhere like around a 7.
Around a 7.
Yeah.
Wow, that's relatively lower
Yeah.
than what I expected. Why? Why do you
I think, I mean, are we talking about like a sense of purpose, like on your end, or talking about the
company's mission?
Yeah.
But then you wouldn't join this company if you didn't think your sense of purpose
right.
aligned.
They have to be aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess when I was I think starting. I mean, from my perspective, right, when you're starting out, you don't have that many choices.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you're on the mission, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the company's mission, what the company's trying to accomplish, it's got to be something great. But you don't really have a lot of say in this. So that's why I'm placing a
Fair enough.
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. And for a first job, maybe
Right.
not, right? Because
Right.
it's all a process of self-discovery.
Right,
I mean, my
exactly.
first job was not CGTN, and then I mean, I knew I loved news, I loved international relations, and eventually I loved
Right.
economics as well.
Yes.
It took me a while to get
Right.
here, also. And then what about you, Suki, in terms of the company's values, its mission?
I think maybe 10.
A 10 as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Oh wow! I mean, this is quite interesting. So, looking at this, all these factors are really quite important. I mean, out of all the factors that I listed, it seems like compensation was the lowest because you guys had 6, 7s, and 6.5s for this, and then the rest were all sort of 8, 9s, or 10s.
So we're like ambitious.
Ambitious, okay, very sort of, you want to follow your dreams, follow your
Try my best
passions.
to do it well.
A little bit
Yeah.
more so than compensation. Okay, that's very interesting. Are there certain pressures that you feel at work right now as sort of young people just starting out in your careers, Daya?
For
And
me,
it's very normal to have pressure
yeah,
at work.
Yeah, and pressure makes you grown up.
Yeah, it makes you grow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's like the job that I have now in CGTN, and also another job that I, as a beauty blogger, I got to do 2 jobs at one time. So, I mean, like the time efficiency is so important for me.
Efficiency, okay. But how do you manage perhaps some stress, some anxiety at work? And we all have that, right? It's totally normal. How do you manage these things?
For me, I don't think I have 2 pressures from work because I love this.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
that's a
this
great
work.
point. Yeah. I'm
So-
going to have to concur with you on that. Really, I mean, I love my job, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a process of enjoying, not thinking it's as a job.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's key. You're so lucky if you can
Yes.
find a job that you like.
You love.
Yeah.
There's actually, I feel you have to be fortunate to be in that position. There are a lot of people that just are in a profession simply for the sake of, maybe making a living. And
Right.
maybe it's not their passion, not their dream. So if we can find one that we really love, that's fantastic. Yuchen, I mean, I feel like managing pressure or stress is nothing new to you. You were in iBanking, you were in finance, and then now you're an entrepreneur. I mean, how do you deal with stress and anxiety?
Right, I think it's quite different when you're an entrepreneur because you're comparing yourself to yourself, basically. You're not really being. I mean, when I was doing investment banking, we're constantly looking at our peers. There's a lot of peer pressure, as you mentioned. There's a lot of what you call involution. 内卷, inward curling. That kind of stuff going on because it's very competitive. And at the end of the year, you're being compensated based on your relative competitiveness against your peers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a rating system. The back of your mind, you're always thinking, how am I doing, in comparison to my peers?
Yeah.
But when you're an entrepreneur, the mindset is totally different, right? You're looking at what you've accomplished and how far you've gone from, say, zero, right? And so that's very different because no one's saying, oh, you've got to do this today. But you have your own schedule. You need to make sure that you're meeting our targets. You set your own targets. So it's a different kind of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think, with the entrepreneurship, I have more, I have this sense of purpose, right? I'm always on a mission trying to do this. I'm more, it's like, I'm more driven. Yeah.
Okay. That inner spark,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
Okay.
totally.
That helps with the pressure and
Yep.
the stress. Okay. Suki,
Yeah.
what about you?
Because I want to make my career more stable, and I want to be more mature influencer and influence my followers in a good way. Yeah, so I maybe put more pressure on myself. Yes.
Okay.
But in the past, I think the pressure is more from the commuting.
More from commuting.
Yes, commuting, because I sometimes when I get to work, I really want to just take a rest. Yeah, but if a long commuting maybe make me so exhausted.
Okay. That's
Yes.
interesting. So work-life
Yes.
balance, you mentioned this before. How do you view this from a Gen Z perspective? Is there a work-life balance in a big city?
Yeah, but I have no money to rent a great apartment. Yes, so I think I want to earn more money. Yes, and I want to how to say?
Say it in Chinese. We'll translate it for you.
Yeah, I think
I mean, that's understandable because
Yes.
in terms of high living costs, we see that in all the major cities around the
Yes.
world. Right. We see it in London, we see it in New York. So every big city in the world,
Yeah.
high cost of living, that's just the norm. Right. But in
Yes.
terms of work-life balance, how do you think through that in terms during the weekend and in terms of how do you schedule your time there with your work schedule?
Wow, at that time I have no weekend. Yeah, I worked 6 days 1 week. I can only have 1 day, and at that time I have to take pictures on that day.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
so maybe that's another reason that made me quit. Yes,
see.
and now I think only sleep all day or just
Nothing wrong with sleeping all day.
Yes, to put the problem behind. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. And if you
maybe-
find a job that you really like, again, then it doesn't really feel like work
Yes.
that much.
Yes,
Right? Just feel like
maybe
you're having fun every day.
Time will tell you how to solve it.
Okay.
Yes.
Gen Z work-life balance. Do you have any thoughts on that, Yuchen?
Yeah, I think it's very important.
It's
right?
very
I mean,
important.
It's very important. It means that we have an option these days, right? I mean, I can work really hard for days. I can pull all-nighters, but it's an option, right? I feel like before, right? Nobody really talked about like work-life balance. You just had to be competitive. You always had to work hard. But these days, people are always talking about like lying flat. I think that's a different mentality, for Generation Z, right? I mean, I think it's very important, right? I mean, you can't really. It's more about like having this option than like working only say 3 days a week. You can work 7 days a week, but you can also achieve work-life balance by working 7 days a week. You can work half days, or you can work from home. There are different options where you
Yeah.
can reach this balance.
I mean, even especially today, I feel with technology, you can work
Yeah.
perhaps anywhere
Yeah.
across the country. You can
Yeah.
work at home. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
Right? Work-life balance. What about you, Daya? What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm so agree. Yeah, because I mean the flexibility is what I'm chasing for.
Oh, you like
Yeah.
flexibility
Yeah.
as well. Okay.
So like I'm trying to find a job that can provide me with flexibility.
Work flexibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
How important is that for Gen Z, you think? Can you, I mean,
I
of course you
will
can't
rate,
speak.
Yeah, I will rate it a 10. 'Cause
Rated
I
a
can-
10. Work
yeah.
flexibility. Okay, so you don't want to be stuck in an office
Yeah,
all
no.
day. Flexibility, very important to you, of course.
Yeah, well, it is important. It's one of, because I feel like when I was doing banking, right, we weren't really, we're like a lot of time, most of the time we're just, spinning our wheels. We weren't really doing anything, even though we're in the office, right? So I think we need to change this mindset that, you had to be in the office to be working. I think that's very different, right? I think the pandemic might have changed the landscape a little bit, but I think,
lot, I feel,
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. And as you mentioned, technology really allows people to work remotely, and we really need to change the boss's mindset as well, because in China, people always feel like if you're not in the office, you're not really producing
Yeah.
anything, you're not being productive.
Hold on, that's the same thing in banking as well, or any big corporation, right? It's called
Right,
FaceTime.
right.
You gotta be there.
Yeah,
you gotta be there if
FaceTime.
your
Yeah, that's
superiors
true.
are-
But I think we would definitely love to have that kind of flexibility.
Younger generation wants more
And,
flexibility.
yeah, we
okay.
can focus on the
Yeah.
results, right, as
Yeah.
opposed to FaceTime.
And sometimes
Okay.
you don't have any job to do, but you have to like
To be there?
To be there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so flexibility, very important for Gen Zs. Got it.
Flexibility.
And then you
And
feel
maybe
that as well.
For my job, my job is mainly online. Yeah,
Yeah.
so only I have a good quality Wi-Fi and fast logistic network.
all you need.
Answer.
That's all
Yes,
you need.
everybody will be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like.
Oh.
Yeah. Only I take pictures outside and then I just come back home. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so flexibility,
So-
very important.
Freelancer.
Freelancer. Yeah. Slash youth, right? Multiple titles, you can do
Yeah.
all kinds of different jobs.
Yes.
Speaking of bosses and in terms of just in general how organizations in China can retain the talent of Generation Z, right? Because talent is so important these days. If you could give advice to a large organization in terms of how they can best retain Gen Z, not jumping to another company, what would you say to, let's say, the CEO of a very large organization? Suki, I know you're sort of thinking about this right now. Yuchen, you're
Yes.
looking at me intently. I feel like you have an answer already.
No, I'm just thinking. I think
Because
it's just really-
you're an entrepreneur. How would you retain your young employees?
Right, I feel like you had to be conducting the interviews, right? You can't really rely on your HR managers to do all the interviews. You had to really know the person and then give them a sense of purpose. I think the conversation is like two-way. It's a two-way conversation, right? So it's not like in the old days, where the interviewers, make all decisions.
Okay.
I guess these days the the candidates actually have a say in this, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a two-way conversation. So whenever I'm giving an interview, I'm actually pitching at the same time. I'm trying to make sure that candidate understands the corporate values that we carry, and also try to give them a sense of purpose, right? Try to make them understand we're really doing something big here.
Yeah.
I think that's very important when big companies try to acquire talent, especially with Gen Z candidates, because they probably don't care that much about the compensation, but they really want to be on the mission. They want to see the upside potential. I think these are the things they care more about, because they have options. They have more options. I think they would tell themselves, worst case scenario, I'll just go back home and then and
Worst case scenario.
and sleep all day, and because they have more options. I think that's it's a very different landscape these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
You agree, Daya?
I'm so confused.
You so agree. 1,000%
Because
agree.
I also want to add one thing is that I think the attraction between this company and their employees are so important.
Okay.
Because that job is not a stressful thing for them. They
Yeah.
want to actively do their thing. No
Yeah.
check in, no
Yeah.
check out.
Yeah.
Do their things.
Personally motivated,
Yeah.
right, to
Personally
do things. Okay. What about you, Suki, in terms of giving advice to a large organization to retain Gen Z talent? I mean, you guys are the workforce of the future, right?
Yes. Oh, I think that question maybe my last leader want to ask me to. Yeah, why I quit. Yes,
Yeah.
because I think if you go to a big company, you have to consider the working environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the company maybe should support a good working environment and some more friendly meeting. Yeah, I don't like the serious meeting.
Friendlier meetings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
I like some happy colleagues.
Happy colleagues.
Yes.
We all love happy colleagues. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And in terms of advice to young people going forward, I mean, you guys are still very, very young
Yeah.
already, but if you could speak to the newest graduates of China, what do you think that would be? Daya, let's start with you.
Definitely chase your dreams.
Chase your dreams. I feel like I'm going to get a unified answer here.
Yeah, kind of
Yuchen?
agree with that. Follow
Chase
your
your
passion,
dreams, follow your
and
passions.
know what you're good at.
Okay.
Also, look at the market opportunities. We had to be
Market
realistic.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think should consider more comprehensively. Yeah. Yeah, it is the right word.
Comprehensively.
Yeah, comprehensively.
Okay.
Yes, and I think do not fear of risks. Just do what you want to do, and you really you really have to know what you really want.
Yeah.
Yes, and then just do it and follow it and try our best.
But that takes time. That takes time for young people to know what they want to do. I mean, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was young, and look what I'm doing now, right? You want to be a zoologist.
So it's so important. You have to know what you want really do.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I mean, that's a great
Yes.
advice for young people, right? If you can figure that out as soon as possible, perhaps
Yes.
the path will be a little bit
And they have the full energy and time to
Okay.
try. Yes. So I think they have to try it, and even if it will fail till end, but you have to have the courage to begin again.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. Great point. We're a bit short on time, but I still want to ask this question in terms of what China's Gen Zers think are the most important qualities or skills to have in the workplace these days. Is it, say, for example, creativity? Is it, say, interpersonal communication skills? What do you think? You can name 1, you can name 2, however many you want.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on which area you are in.
Yeah.
If you are in a media area, you definitely need that creativity.
Creativity is most important. But in general, what do you think Gen Zers should be
general-
equipped with for today's workplace?
I would say certainty.
Certainty.
Like
what does that mean?
you have to have that ambition and
Okay, I like that.
stick
Ambition.
to that.
Yes.
Okay. So you discover something you like and make sure you just stay on that path, be determined to succeed in that path. Ambition. Okay, fantastic. Yuchen, what about you?
I think communication skills are important. You have to really put yourself in others' shoes, and that's important. But in addition to that, you need the hard skills to break into the industry, especially if you're in the tech sector. If you want to be a programmer, you need to know how to code.
Let's do some Python, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so agree with him. I think the communication skills is more important. Yeah, as for my job, I communicate with others every day. Yeah,
Okay.
I met some new grads. They can't say some friendly words. Yes, that made me so mad. Yeah, I really mad. Yeah, so I think we live in a society and we have to talk to others, not alone. So
Yeah.
I think the communicating skills is so important.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Good. So we are out of time now, but we are a multi-talented bunch, or you guys are. And Yuchen, you have a very special skill that I want you to show our audience. Bamboo clappers is what you have, right? How about we pick them up,
Right.
and then you show us.
curious
So
about that.
this is
Sure.
a very, is it a traditional Beijing, how would you say it? Is it like a
Northern
round-
China.
Northern China kind of,
I would call
How
it
would you
a
describe it?
percussive instrument. You know, it's
Percussive
actually a
instrument,
form of a qu It's a form of folk art.
it's an art. It's
Yeah.
a folk art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then you're going to perform a bit for us.
Yes.
Right? So,
Wow.
Great.
welcome. Yuchen.
Welcome.
The stage is yours.
So this is called bamboo clapper rap.
Bamboo clappers.
Rap.
Wow.
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 It's a special talent. Yeah.
这同仁堂那开着本是老药铺啊，先生好比这个水手自在王，药王爷就在当中坐，持着名医呀，列两旁，这么先拜药王，后拜你，那个你是药王爷的大徒弟，药王爷本姓孙呢，骑龙跨虎，手捻着针，内科的医生孙思邈，外科的医生华佗高，孙思邈一道高，那么32岁入唐朝，正宫的国母得了病，这么走线号末治好了，一针治好娘娘的病，这么2针扎好龙一条啊，万岁一见呢，龙欣喜，要请他的为官在当朝，那么封他文官，他不要是封他武将，就把头摇，万般出在了无计奈呀，亲身自见了大黄袍，这一旁怒恼哪一个呀？怒恼了竟得老鹰嚎，微臣我那么东当西杀，功劳大为何了不赐大黄袍？一副钢鞭拿在了手啊，手拿着钢鞭赶黄袍，药王爷妙法高，那么脱下了黄袍换红袍，黄袍供在药王镐啊，黎明过杏啊，财把香烧。您老这个买卖有兰桂啊，您老这个兰桂3尺3寸3分高，一旁着挂着压药碾呢，一旁着供着炸药刀，炸药刀亮堂堂，有几味草药您了先尝，先炸这个牛黄玉狗宝，再炸槟榔与麝香，那么桃仁陪着杏仁睡，那么2人睡在了沉香床，睡到3更焦白的夜，胆大的木贼跳金墙，那么倒斗水银50两，那么金巴的狗儿叫王宝，有丁香寄送信，那么人参这才做大堂，扶手抄起干草的棍呢，那么棍打在陈皮上，那个打这个陈皮流鲜血，鲜血洒在了木瓜上，大松丸小松丸胖大海第6元，告别膏药贴上喊，我有心接着要明儿往下唱，我是唱到明儿我唱不完，我唱的是祝各位朋友这么一帆风顺，二龙腾飞，3阳开泰，4季平安，5福临门，6大顺，吉星高照，8方来财，9同心，10全10美，福寿双全。
Wow, bravo! Oh my
That's good
goodness.
memory.
Wow, so worst comes to worst, you can do this, right? This can be a full time. How long did it take you to learn this skill?
It's been
Since when you were very young, right?
Yeah,
it's been like 10 years since I
10
learned.
years.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
Wow, I mean, are you sure you're a Gen Zer? Because this is, for our audiences abroad, this is a very traditional full guard, right?
Right.
I mean, you're in also traditional garb, but you're also Gen Z. I mean, this is very interesting. Very nice combination.
Yeah, it's so hard. I've tried once.
This
I
is
can
definitely
do it.
harder than it looks.
Yes.
Definitely harder than it looks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, this was a fantastic, insightful conversation. Thank you to all of you, Daya, Yuchen, and Suki. Learned a lot about China's Gen Z. Maybe we're not so different. You know, millennials and Gen Z have a lot of similar feelings, so similar thoughts. So great. Thank you so much for joining us in this beautiful courtyard here in Beijing.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you to our audience, wherever you are, all around the world, for joining us on this Voice of Generation Z live stream. I'm Michael Wang, and we're going to see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.